from the flight deck. This is the Plane Jockeys Podcast, where we dig into some of the stories and personalities you've seen on Airline Videos live. Our estimated time en route is, well, however long these guys want to chat. Now sit back and relax and enjoy the show. It's a lot more fun than reading the safety card. I promise.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the Airline Videos Live Plane Jockeys Podcast. I am Plane Jockey Kevin, and I'm joined once again by fellow Plane Jockey Rudy.
Hello, everybody. So good to be here for episode 3. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. And I'm so excited for today's topic.
Yeah, you're so excited. Well, I'm excited too, because we're going to be talking about some of the best locations for plane spotting at LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, one of the best airports in the world for plane spotting. People come from all around the world to come plane spot here in Los Angeles. And of course, that's our home base here on Airline Videos Live. So nobody knows better than us two, right, Rudy? I guess, right?
Oh, absolutely. We are going to share the pros and cons to some of the locations that you've seen on our show and more.
Yes.
So just coming from our own experience, of course, there are many spotter guides out there, but we are going to give you some details so you know where to go when you come here to LAX.
Yeah, so we're going to be basically giving you the top 8 locations. This is based on our experience here at LAX. There's a lot of other locations, just like you were mentioning, but we spent a lot of time, a lot of energy at these top 8 locations. So why don't we start with the first one there?
Number one.
It's where we do our big Sunday show every Sunday there at Imperial Hill, also known as Clutters Park, there in El Segundo, California. It's just on the south side, overlooking the whole south side of LAX. What do you think?
Yes, and if you're wondering how do I find it, Google Maps, just type in Clutters Park and it will show you where to go. Really easy to find. And yes, indeed, it is a hill. So,
and one of the best things about this location, is the shots of the takeoff action there on the south side. You have a lot of cargo action. You got the Queens, the 747s. Occasionally there will be an A380 that takes off there on the south side. I promise it does happen. It will happen again, though it's very rare anymore. But you just have a lot of takeoff action there on the south side. If you're looking for that great, video and photography shot of takeoff action, then Clutters Park, Imperial Hill is the spot for you.
Yes, and if you're wanting to take video, or even if you're just going to spot and just enjoy the sights and sounds, you're relatively close to the runways, so You're going to get good sound from there.
Yes, and the other great thing about that, not only are you there to take photos or videos of the airplanes, there's just a community bond there as well with other fellow av geeks and families that just come out and just want to enjoy the sights and sound of the airport there.
Yes, this is definitely one of the most popular and well-known spots for plane spotters at LAX. So with that, it can get busy at times.
Yes.
A lot of plane spotters out there, especially if they're trying to grab something super special, something to keep in mind.
Yes.
I guess it's already one con if you want to look at it that way.
Yes, because you have a lot of the private charter flights as well.
Yes.
So a lot of those international planes that you might not see on a normal basis will fly in with their special VIPs or executives, and of course they usually take off and land there on the south side. So there's the great things about that location. Of course, if you watched our live broadcast, it has some limitations, and that basically revolves around some big buildings that get in the way.
Yes. We have buildings that will block the shots, especially with the arrivals. You're not going to see the touchdowns if we're in, regular flow, regular operations. So something to keep in mind if you want to get those touchdown shots, you're not going to get it from there because there are buildings, there are wires and poles and other things, obstructions that will get in your way of those arrival shots.
But you were now about less than 10 times a year, we will get the east flow, the reverse operation. So the planes, instead of coming in over the city, will actually come in over the ocean, and they'll touch down on the sevens, which basically is the runways in front of you, right smack, right in the middle of the park, right in front of you. It makes a great shot. But that, of course, that only happens less than 10 times a year. So if you find yourself there at Clutters Park and it all of a sudden becomes a reverse operation day, and you're not drenched in rain. It does happen. We do get sunshine on reverse operation days. You consider yourself one of the luckiest plane spotters out there for sure.
Yes. And it's a great, like you mentioned earlier, great place to meet other plane spotters. And it's kind of a spot where it's okay to, meet other people, go up to people and talk about the airplanes, even if you don't know who they are. It's a great meeting location.
And free parking, street parking, though. Be very careful. There are cleaning days, Tuesday and Wednesday. So be very careful.
Couple of things to consider for this location. It is a neighborhood, so be very, courteous and considerate of the neighbors. And also note that there are no restrooms there. So just plan ahead. That's it.
All right. Well, speaking of restrooms, our next location, I'm not really actually, these don't go in any order. We're not saying, obviously Imperial Hill is one of our favorites, but we're not saying that's like the number one on the list. That's just, it's where we spend probably our most time.
Yes.
Now, number 2 on the list is the Proud Bird Restaurant, which first, of course, has restrooms. If you're looking for the restroom as a plane spotter, you're in luck at this location.
Absolutely. That is definitely a pro to this location. Of course, it is a restaurant and a place to grab food, and there is a bar as well. So if that's something that you would like to enjoy,
yes,
it's definitely a great
Sign
place.
me up.
Great atmosphere. It's a great place to go with family, with friends. It's a great weekend location. And definitely a great place for the kids. There's an outdoor playground. So if you have kids and, have them go into the playground. Hey, kids, have some fun. And you take pictures, take videos of the airplanes arriving on the south side of LAX.
And what kind of photos and videos are you going to capture at this location? Basically, just like the limitations of Imperial Hill, you're not going to get that touchdown moment from the Proud Bird, but you can still get some really cool shots as they make their final approach to the 25s.
Yes, this is on the southeast end of the airport, so you're definitely not going to get any of the departures. So if you're looking for departures, this is not your location. You are going to get, like you mentioned, the arrivals. It's a great place to get those 747s on final approach, short final, there on the south side. So you can even get some good pictures, good videos with even just your phone because you're so close to the airplanes. Now, you do want to keep in mind that they do have updated limited hours. So if you're wondering when they're open, you go to their website and check it out, theproudbird.com. Make sure to check when they're open. Otherwise, you might come and find out that they're closed. So you don't want that. You definitely want to be able to go to their outdoor patio area. Like I said, enjoy some food, some drinks, and enjoy the views of those landings.
I was going to say, this is more just if you just want to relax and enjoy and take in the sights and the sounds of the plane with an occasional, grab a picture or some video while you're, just relaxing and having fun with some great food and some drinks and the atmosphere. That is definitely the place you want to be.
And I know some of our viewers enjoy the private jets. If you want to get those good pictures of private jets, this is probably the spot to go because you won't always see them over at Imperial Hill.
All right. So the cons of this place, really, you're not going to get the touchdown shot.
Right.
Honestly, I think that's the only downfall of the whole that location.
And just keeping in mind the hours, you can't just go. Right. There are certain days of the week that they are closed, so you can't just go whenever you would like.
And the parking lot's pretty much locked up. So it's not like you can go there, still plain spot on the side of the building. You're not going to get through the parking lot there. So
one quick last thing to mention is you also want to keep in mind that, they do rent out their facility to special events, weddings, and other functions. So on random occasions, they might close the entire place down for those special events, or even probably just the outdoor area, which is where you want to go. But it's a really great place. And, maybe you want to have a birthday party there, graduation celebration or something. Great place to enjoy the planes.
Yes. And that basically is on the east side of the south side of LAX along Aviation Boulevard.
Yes.
All right. Well, there's a lot of parking garages all around LAX. Yeah, look over here. There's a parking garage there and a parking garage there. A lot of those private parking garages. The only designated plane spotter parking garage is the LAX economy parking garage, which is located just east of the 24 runways, 24 left, 24 right there on the north side. So it's just east of the north side of LAX. And of course, you can actually go there. You don't even have to park your car. You can just go up to the 4th floor and enjoy the plane spotting.
Yes, and if you're wondering how do I get there, type in this address. It's 6100 West 94th Street in Los Angeles, California, 90045. And that'll take you to this exact location.
And what kind of shots are we going to get there? Well, if you guys have watched our live streams, hello.
Specifically.
Yes. Hello, Kevin. Yes, the Friday night shows that we do on top of the parking garage. Great shots. Certainly, even at night, if you're into night videography, photography, it's a great place.
Absolutely. And so now we're on the north side of LAX, runways 24 left, 24 right. Great views of the airplanes, not just arriving, but also departing on the north side. So this is a great place. Now, it is a little bit further away from the runways, so you are going to need a little bit more focal length.
Right.
So 200 millimeters minimum. Up to, if you have a 600 millimeters, that would be great. I think that's what we use with Nighthawk.
Yes,
so
yes.
You're going to want some good reach, good lens power there, especially if you're trying to get the departures. Otherwise, it's just too far away to get a good shot.
Fairly safe up there as well.
Yes.
It's nice and quiet.
Feel very safe being up there, and they tend to have security and sometimes police patrolling around just to make sure. There are many security cameras. There is a restroom. We've mentioned that, but it is kind of far. I'm going to say that. We're on I believe it's the 6th floor up. The restrooms are on the 1st floor and on the east end.
Is it 6 floors? Or I said it 4th floor or 4th.
You know what? Maybe
story.
You're right.
Okay,
Maybe, I think you're right.
Well, it feels like 6 stories, right?
It does, especially during the summer. Something to keep in mind, it gets hot up there. So definitely come prepared with water and, of course, sunscreen. I don't know if we need to mention that, but something to keep in mind, it gets hot up there.
Yes. But it's a great location. And like I said, it's the only parking garage around LAX that is an official designated spot for plane spotting there at LAX. Now, do not go to the other private parking garages. There's one right behind the In-N-Out Burger. I know a lot of people go up there and they instantly, you bring out your camera and they will kick you out of there along with the other parking garages. So just be wary. Don't be going to those other parking garages. Definitely, if you want to know that you're in the right place, check out the economy parking garage there on the northeast corner of LAX.
Yeah, and you can ask other plane spotters and say, "Oh, I've taken," and I'm sure we've all seen the pictures from the other garages, but we're just warning you that I can tell you from my own experience, I've been kicked out before.
Yes.
So just to let you know, it's going to happen. You're going to get kicked out.
Exactly. All right. Should we move on? We were just talking about In-N-Out Burger. Well, let's move over. I mean, this is the In-N-Out location is not too far from the economy parking. Just basically a hop, skip, and a jump, basically.
You could walk from there, actually. It's a nice, quick little walk. If you actually wanted to hop between these two locations, you definitely could do that. Now, the In-N-Out location, as you all are aware, is one of the most popular spots, probably after Imperial Hill. It's kind of a touristy destination for sure. And some people stumble upon this just by mistake. You know, if you're in the terminal and you're hungry and want to hop over to the In-N-Out, I mean, you could even walk from the terminal to the In-N-Out location. It's a very busy location, I will tell you that.
Yes.
The line into the In-N-Out wraps around most of the time. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're trying to find parking right outside the In-N-Out, it's sometimes tricky.
Yes.
And, you know, you're usually fighting with the In-N-Out line. But this is a park right in front of the In-N-Out, right next to LAX. And here you're going to get great views of the arrivals on 24 right. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you get closer to the In-N-Out, you might be able to view the departures, but you're not going to get the best
No, well, you're shooting
footage
through a fence. The fence kind of gets in the way for the departures. And of course, I mean, that is the ultimate place for the flyover. Well, like I used to say with Rudy used to do the second camera outside of the In-N-Out Burger location where the planes would fly right over your head. There's no shot like that in the world, I'm telling you.
Yes, and a question I would always get by people walking past me when I used to film there: when is a good time to be out here? When should I, when are the big planes coming in? And that would be what we refer to as the afternoon rush.
Right.
So that would be between the hours of 12 p.m. and 2, just depending on whether flights are delayed or not. Of course,
Right.
the Lufthansa Queen, the 747, and the Emirates A380. So yeah, anywhere between 12 to 2 p.m., maybe 3 p.m., depending on if they're delayed. That's a great time to go out there, grab some in and out, walk over to the park, and enjoy the arrivals.
Right. And now, one thing to keep in mind, there are a lot of trees around there. So you have to be, you kind of just got to walk around there and find your perfect spot. There's a lot of perfect spots, but just know there's a lot of trees that kind of will ruin your shot. So you just got to walk around and just find that just perfect location.
Yes, and pretty much most time of the year, it's a great spot to get videos, pictures, and of course, the In-N-Out's right there. And of course, In-N-Out has restrooms. So another thing to keep in mind, it's just a nice spot, and you get good sunshine too.
Yes.
So if you want to get a little bit of sun, great spot for that as well.
Do we think about any cons in this location?
The only thing I would mention is just kind of be aware of your
Yes.
surroundings.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Absolutely. Wow. So much more locations we are going to talk about here. This is a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys are getting some good information from these two plane spotters here at LAX. All right, stay tuned. Much more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Folks, again from the flight deck, we hope you're enjoying those luxurious seats and plentiful complimentary beverages. Oh, right, it's a podcast. Well, then we hope you're enjoying the banter. Stay tuned for more.
Oh, Rudy, they want more. Oh, they want more locations. Do we have more locations for them? Yes,
Oh,
I
yes.
think we do. All right. So we just talked about the In-N-Out Burger location, which is basically on the northeast corner of the north runways there at LAX. Well, now if you park there and you just start walking along the sidewalk and you start heading west along Lincoln Boulevard, that is the main street that runs up against the park there at In-N-Out. If you keep on walking to the west, you're going to see it's like a little hill. It's like a little grassy hill. I don't even know if there's grass there. It's all weeds. All depends what time of the year you're at. But basically, that is called the Lincoln Boulevard location.
Yes. And you might even spot there's these trails that kind of lead up to there.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just kind of naturally created
Happened.
from
Yes.
people jumping or walking up the hill.
Yes.
So this is another spot on the north side of LAX. And this is a great location if you want to get views of the arrivals and see those touchdowns on the north side. This is a great spot and you're really close to the airplanes. So I do like this location, especially for arrivals. And you also get a little bit of the views. I don't want to say a little bit. You get a great view of the departures on the north side. This is probably one of the best spots to get the views of the departures.
Yes, and it's where basically the planes turn on to 24 left. You get that great turning shot. And of course, if you're shooting video, I mean, the sound is perfect there because you got you've got everything. You've got everything, but you have to be careful. You're right next to Lincoln Boulevard, so you're going to get a lot of car sound as well mixed in with your airplane sound. So just be aware of that.
You are guaranteed to get at least one fire truck or ambulance passing through. And if you've seen any of my videos or any of Kevin's videos, I'm sure you've seen those. You're going to get that. So, and the other thing, I guess we're talking about cons now.
Yes.
You're going to get certain times of the year backlighting. So
I was just going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly the best time of the year at that location is later in the afternoon into the evening during the months. I would say, I guess you're okay around like April-ish.
I was going to say May.
April, May, and all the way up until like September, early October. After
Maybe
that,
October, yeah.
pretty much it's all backlit.
Yes, you're going to get and if you don't know, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but backlighting means that the sun is behind the aircraft as you're filming. And so it's a shadow and you can't really tell what it is. And you don't want that. So
Yes.
That's definitely a con. Of course, now we know that we're traveling or walking from the in and out. You're a little bit further away from restrooms. So
Right.
keep that in mind. It can get very hot, especially during the summer months. So definitely want to stay hydrated. And you are kind of walking, I feel like I'm walking through the jungle trying to get
Yes.
get up there. So if, something to keep in mind that you are going to have to kind of trek up the hill. It's not too bad, but just something to keep in mind.
Yes, and be careful of where you're stepping. Not that I've ever had any experience with any snakes or any of those weird, exotic stuff that might be popping out of the holes of the ground. But just be careful.
It's not level, there's holes and I've also seen some trash and stuff. Just be careful what you're stepping on.
Right.
And also make sure you're aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
Keep an eye on your valuables,
Always.
things like that. So just something to keep in mind, but great location.
Great location.
And it's even better if you can bring a friend just to kind of keep an eye on things. It's a great spot to get, like I said, views of the north side arrivals and departures.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Should we continue on our march? As we'll continue on, basically, if you continue walking down Lincoln Boulevard and you head toward the Westchester Bridge location. So there's another way to get there as well. So if you're at In-N-Out, Westchester is basically, so Lincoln is going to the west, which wraps underneath the bridge, if that makes any sense. So if you are at the In-N-Out Burger and you actually go one street to the north of that is Westchester. So the other option is to just basically walk down Westchester. Very nice walk. That takes you to the Westchester Bridge location, which again is overlooking the two north runways, 24 left and 24 right. Another great location, certainly if you're taking video. Sound is the best here because basically everything's touching down there on 24 right in front of your camera. And of course, you got that reversed action going on right in front of you.
Now, how long would you say it would take you to walk from In-N-Out to the Westchester Bridge?
I'd say it's probably less than 15 minutes. It's not that far.
It's not too bad, but if you would rather drive, there is no parking here.
No parking, yes.
So something to keep in mind. There is a park kind of down the street. If you can find it, that might be a better option for a lot of you if you don't want to walk 10, 15 minutes, but it's not that bad of a drive or a walk from the In-N-Out location.
Right. And once again, no restroom at this location
No
either.
restroom, like anywhere close by. So something to keep in mind. Now, comparing Lincoln, the hill at Lincoln versus the bridge, would you say one is better than the other for arrivals or departures?
I guess it's all depending on what you're trying to get. So basically, when you're at Lincoln, and let's say you're getting that touchdown moment, that touchdown is actually going to happen beyond you. So if you're looking for that behind the shot of smoky landing or whatever, that is what you're going to get at Lincoln. Now, you're further west at the Westchester Bridge location. So basically, the touchdown is going to happen in front of you. So the plane's coming at you. So it all depends what you're looking at. I mean, you're looking at two different shots, basically.
Yes. I would say, in my opinion, and you can tell me if you agree or not, the Lincoln Hill location is better for the departures because you get more of that as opposed to at the Westchester Bridge.
Yes.
Those departures, all too well. We have those bushes.
Twiggy.
At the time of the recording that we're recording today,
Yes.
the Twiggy is still there.
Twiggy's still there.
We've nicknamed this big bush that gets in the way of that rotation shot.
And a power grid.
Yes.
There.
Still there.
Still there at this point. Now, in the future, we hope that we'll go back and listen to this podcast and we'll laugh because they've built a nice plane spotting platform in this nice parking lot that actually sits in front of the Westchester Bridge location. Who knows? You could dream, right?
Well, at this time, it's just an empty lot. Literally just empty. There's nothing there. So
Maybe.
It would be great to create it into some sort of a safe plane spotting location. Safe is the keyword.
Yes, that would be amazing. So lots of pluses, lots of minuses at this location. I think they kind of just equal themselves out. It's a great location. for the arrivals. For departures, not so much.
Yes.
Unless it rotates early. Then it's a great shot.
Of course. And I would caution being there in the late night hours. I've heard and seen some kind of sketchy things, so just be careful.
Yes, but LAX police just built a brand new police station,
Yes.
which is basically right behind that. So there's a lot of police that are coming and going, constantly driving by. So in that aspect, and there's a lot of people out walking down Westchester Boulevard. So I would say safety wise, I think you're probably safer at Westchester Bridge than you are at Lincoln, I would say.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that.
All right. So it's a great spot. All of these spots are great. And of course, if you're listening, we're talking about the pros and the cons for each location. Well, now this is a spot that I've never been to, but Rudy has ventured over there. And a lot of people in the comments on the live show are always like, why don't you do a live stream at Dockweiler, which is the beach? So basically, on the other side of the hill at LAX is Dockweiler Beach. I mean, you basically have the Pacific Ocean right there next to LAX. Now, a lot of still photographers go to this location. Makes a great shot as the plane is basically flying over the ocean. Doesn't make a great location for video because you're basically going to have like a 5-second shot, if that.
Yes, you caught my attention at beach. If you like the beach, this is a great spot to go. And like you mentioned, Kevin, it's a great spot for departures on the north side. Actually, you get both sides. If you position yourself just dead center in between the 4 different runways at LAX, you can actually get both sides. You can get the south side departures and the north side departures.
Okay.
Of course, you're not going to get any of the arrivals because we're past that. Something to keep in mind, if you are going to go to Dockweiler Beach, you do need to pay for parking. Now, something you could do if you find yourself you're going to go there pretty frequently is you could get an annual parking pass.
Oh.
So something to keep in mind, I actually have a friend who has a parking pass. And because this is a state beach, you can actually use it at any of the other state beach locations.
Oh,
so
very nice.
You go to the beach a lot, just something to keep in mind. Now, I don't know what the hours are. I'm sure after a certain time you can't go in there. So I was going to say for, nighttime arrivals, of course, the airplanes are coming in from the ocean after midnight, but I don't think you're going to be able to find that. I don't know that they're open at that time. But certain times of the year where we're in east flow or reverse operations, this would be a great place to get the arrivals because, of course, the airplanes are coming in from the ocean side.
Right.
So if you're thinking about doing a live stream,
forget about it.
Internet is not the greatest at the beach. Of course, most beaches, it's a little spotty with internet. So.
And that is why we have not done a live stream. And I mean, obviously, the shot's not going to last very long. We can't really, we'd be sitting there looking at the flight radar because we couldn't actually see the airport from that location. You'd just be kind of guessing, I think it's going to be flying over here in a couple of seconds from now. Yes.
And it's a great view, especially if you're pointing the camera towards the north runways. It's a great view with the palm trees, that SoCal kind of a look. If you want the palm trees and the airplane in the same shot, it's a great spot for that. Otherwise, you're mostly getting belly shots of the departures.
So really a still photo location, not so much for video.
Yeah, I've done a video and posted to my YouTube, and it's okay.
Right.
But I think you're right. It's better for still shots.
Now, there is a restroom there, right?
There are restrooms. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it is a state beach. There are many restrooms. And of course, if you want the sounds of the waves and the beach and you want to get some sun, definitely want to go to Dockweiler.
I was going to say, it's the beach. I mean, no better place to be, right? The beach and plane spotting. It sounds like heaven.
But we also just mentioned that it's not great for video. And the one video I did, I had to pot down the mics because you're going to get all the sounds of the beachgoers.
Right.
So that's why I had to turn it down because the things they were talking about and shouting about and screaming about.
Oh, they're having fun.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So let's move back to the east side. So that's basically that's about as far west as you can get at LAX. Let's head back to the east side to one of our favorite spots. And of course, this is a spot that you actually have to get a reservation for. And we're talking about the H Hotel, where we do our live stream every Thursday on top of the 12th floor balcony, overlooking both the north side and the south side of LAX. Again, this is a location that you do need to have a hotel reservation for to be able to go up there to the 12th floor deck. But I mean, the views there are absolutely amazing. Some of the best ever.
Yes, especially for north side arrivals. This is an absolute prime location. You're going to get really good views, not just of the plane flying past you, but touching down. You're going to get a great view of that. Now, I say especially for the arrivals, but you like you mentioned, you're going to get everything. You can definitely still see the departures from the 12th story of the H Hotel. You'll also be able to, if you can walk to the different parts of the rooftop deck. So you can actually walk over to view the south side and get views of the airplanes arriving on the south side. From there, if I can be honest, I don't think you'll be able to see the touchdown because of where you're at, but you will get good views of the departures of the south side.
Now, you used to be able to get that touchdown shot until United built their brand new hangar there.
Yes.
And now it's completely blocked that shot. But, what are you going to do?
I did want to mention that one little thing. Now, of course, assuming you stay at the H, I can tell you for sure the rooms are comfortable.
Yes.
And of course, that means you have your own room, you have your restroom, there is a coffee bean, a Krispy Kreme downstairs.
Yes.
You can always do your room service, so you have food catered to you. I mean,
if some of these rooms have some of the views, you don't even need to leave your room.
It's incredible. So if you find yourself coming to LAX in the first place, you're out of town and you need a place to stay, make sure to book a room at the H Hotel.
One of the best shots you can get still-wise, actually you can do this with video as well. If the atmosphere is just right, you can see downtown Los Angeles with the mountains, and if you frame it just right, you can get an awesome shot of the planes coming in for an arrival on 24 right with the shot of downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, especially at sunset. It is one of the most incredible views from up the H Hotel. Now, we can't tell you when this will happen, but we've mentioned East Flow or reverse operations.
Oh, yes.
If you happen to be at the H during reverse operations, this is the prime location to get those departures from 6 right, which is the opposite direction that the airplanes normally take off. They're on the north side.
And another great place for night photography and videography there as well. You got the columns all lit up at night with the LAX sign that you could see basically from that 12th floor balcony. Just an awesome overall view of LAX.
Yes, very safe location, of course.
Yes.
You are secured up there. Nobody gets to go up there unless they have a room key, a hotel reservation. So it's very safe. And one thing to keep in mind, I'm trying to be very honest here, is that they do have hours when you can go up to the rooftop. I believe it's 7 a.m. to, is it 10 p.m.?
Yes.
So just something to keep in mind, but that's still a lot of time available to you to go up there. And the times we've been up there, it doesn't get too busy. So you're kind of at peace to be able to plane spot there.
Oh, it's very peaceful up there.
Yes.
You can get wrapped up into the moment.
Especially during sunset. Or if you can be up there during sunrise, absolutely incredible.
Yes. So, I mean, we've talked about our top 8 locations there at LAX. I mean, there's so many more. I would say come to LA, come to PlaneSpot, and just venture out. And maybe you'll find a new special spot for yourself. As long as it's not on private property. Here's the one thing. Don't go to private property. You got to stay on public property because you do have the risk of getting kicked out of that property if it is private. So,
yes, absolutely. And we hope that these tips have been useful and helpful to you. And thanks so much for listening to today's episode.
Yes, this is a lot of fun.
Yes.
Oh, so much more podcasts coming in the future. Until next time, we'll see ya.
Goodbye.
Well, folks, we finally made it. That's good, because the first officer and I have talked so much, I feel like I know him better than my brother.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Plane Jockeys Podcast, a companion to Airline Videos Live.
Goodbye.
Find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Airline Videos, or visit airlinevideos.com. On behalf of the entire crew, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again on the next Plane Jockeys Podcast.
Bye-bye.